Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be attempting something in the name of science, general curiosity, and overall stupidity. See, when we first pulled this car out of the garage and I wanted to drive it, my main goal was just to drive it. I really wanted to drive it. Somewhere along the way I thought it was a good idea to put long tube headers on. Sidewinder, medium riser intake manifold, and then an 800 CFM double for Holley on top of that. And in the name of race car, obviously. Race cars need that kind of thing, and this is a race car, obviously. However, race cars don't get good gas mileage and are expensive. So this conundrum has been brought on not by the car, but by me. However, I'm going to be the one to try and do the dumb thing. If I drive like a grandpa, I can get maybe 14 miles to the gallon with this car. However, if I drive like me, I'll get about 8. Now, there's not much we can do about that, really. I like driving fast. Now, given the setup, the intake, the long tube headers, and the carburetor, there's not much we can do about fuel economy. However, we can do one thing, and I've always wanted to try this. We can take the secondary linkage off of the carburetor, so that way that secondaries will never open, and just run the car off the primaries and see what kind of fuel economy we can gain from that. Now, I know what you're thinking. Now, if you just kept your foot out of it, then you wouldn't ever have that problem. Now, that is true. However, I can't keep my foot out of it. So if we take the foot out of the equation, then heck, we fix the problem. So I want to try it. I want to see it. It's probably dumb and stupid, I know. And that's not the point. However, I think it's worth a shot. We can take the secondary linkage off and just see how it runs. I'm kind of curious. I don't think, idling and standing and running like that is going to do totally fine. I'm just kind of curious drivability-wise. So like I said, that's an 800 CFM Holley double pumper. So it's that specific carburetor is kind of like a spread bore. The back two are just a little bit, the secondaries are just a little bit bigger than the primaries. So if it's 400 a piece-ish, maybe it's like 380 in the front. I know that's not how they rate CFM and carburetors, but I think it's worth a shot. So today we're going to be answering the question, can reasonable fuel economy be achieved with a Holley double pumper? Let's find out. Now, one thing I'm keeping in mind on doing this, no experiment is dumb as long as you learn from it. So let's learn from this experiment. Step 1, remove air. As you can see, this is the way this carburetor works. This here linkage, here's your main throttle linkage, and as you give it the beans, it'll go back, and at a certain point, that other little elbow linkage will start to move, like right there, and there you have your secondary starting to open up. So I'm going to remove this little piece of wire that I stuck in there at one point, and then we are going to see what that does. Now, some of you may be wondering what prompted this sudden change in horsepower over fuel economy. I would say several reasons. 1, I'm broke. 2, I have a girlfriend. She likes my car. I like my car. I like driving my car to see girlfriend. However, car gets bad gas mileage. See, to see girlfriend, I don't need 350 horsepower. I just need better fuel economy. And so we are going to try this secondary removal in the spirit of better fuel economy. And anyway, we're gonna try it. That's what prompted it, in case you guys were wondering. It's kind of funny. I know it's dumb. I agree. But so let's see what this does. Let's see what that'll do. The secondary linkage has been removed. Now the secondaries will not open whenever you get your foot into it, and so we're only running with the primaries now. So let's fire it up and see what kind of change we made. I don't really know what's going to happen, but we'll find out. It's not exactly cold and it's not exactly hot either, so I guess we'll just see what she's going to do. I drove her this morning, so give her a pump for good measure. She's idling. Alright. We can articulate the secondaries. That's kind of funny. Well, let's fix that needle and seat gasket. See, you just never know what you're going to get into. I got a couple little gaskets here. One of them's right. The other two, I don't know what they go to. So we'll just see if any of this is going to work. It's always handy to have a rag over needle and seat because more than likely there's going to be fuel pressure right here. Okay, for this job you're going to need a 5/8 wrench and a flathead screwdriver. Yeah, that bottom gasket looks okay, but this top one appears to be ripped. So, you can't really see, okay. It's less than ideal, arguably. Just going to scrape some residue off and then put her back together. We have one new and one used gasket here, so we'll give her a shot. One gasket goes between the bowl of the carburetor and the adjuster nut. Just gonna turn that down there. We're gonna get our 5/8 wrench on that nut so we don't mess with our float adjustment. Turn that down till it's just snug as a bug in a rug. Dry her off real good. Now, let's see if that leaks. So, linkage has been removed. It runs and idles just fine, seems like. And we fixed a potential fire hazard, so that's good. I have to go to church later tonight. My brother will drive this, and I'll have him record my driving impression of driving on 2 barrels instead of 4. And then we'll come to a final conclusion. Me and my brother are going to head into town. We're running only on 2 barrels, so we'll see how dumb this experiment is and find out. I'll probably be putting the linkage back on at the grocery store, so. So far I noticed no change, which is expected, I would say. Haven't had to use the secondaries yet, so. Big difference. So just there I got into it a little bit. It definitely doesn't have the power that it did. Alright guys, so final thoughts on the removing secondary linkage on the Holley double pumper. I decided that it wasn't worth it. You know, if you're sitting at a stoplight, drag race or something, you don't have to get out of the car to put your secondary linkage back on just so you can win a drag race. I definitely felt a noticeable loss of power once you got into the throttle, and that's obviously what you would expect when you get rid of 2 of your 4 barrels. The best thing you can do if you have a double pumper and you're trying to get better gas mileage, just keep your foot out of it, drive like a grandpa, you're not in any hurry, you know. This carburetor, this car, one purpose, and that is to look cool and go fast, not get good gas mileage, unfortunately. If you want to get good gas mileage, get a Prius, you know. Unfortunately, that's how it is, so. Hope you guys learned something. I know I did. It's kind of a whole spur-of-the-moment deal, just kind of curious. And anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next time on It'll Run.